Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk about a new product made by benchdogs.co.uk, the same people that made the fence that I use on my 4x8 MFT table, and that product is this. Now, many people may not know what this is, but if you do, you know that it is a guide rail square for a track saw. And the unique thing about this particular model, as you see, it's got the yellow color. If you go on benchdogs.co.uk site, you'll see that one of them is like a tealish green, and the other one is like one of them's like a teal blue, and the other one's like a green, which signifies what that is: Makita, Festool, and now Dewalt. Prior to now, there has never been a rail square that has been constructed or manufactured to work with Dewalt track saws. Products like this is one of the reasons why, or the absence of products like this is one of the reasons why I ended up investing in the Makita system and then eventually into the Festool system. Maybe had things like this been around before, maybe I wouldn't own Makita or the Festool. So let's just get into what this actually is and whatever. So you have these cams that you adjust to actually tighten it onto the rail. You've got a T-track here that you'll utilize to slide onto the rail, and then this part here is gives you the ability to provide extra leverage, because this is actually a pretty beefy piece of aluminum. You've got your cam screws. You also have threaded holes all around for any kind of accessories that Bench Dogs decides to come up with, or any kind of jigs that you come up with on your own to utilize with this device. Now, a comparable product, which I do own, is the GSR 16PE by TSO. Weight-wise, it is lighter, it is thinner, but it's pretty much a similar concept. This particular product is able to attach to both the Festool and also the Makita guide rails through this clamping mechanism here. And I'll demonstrate how both of these fit in just a moment. So anyways, what these products allow you to do is they allow you to butt up against one side of your work to give you a 90-degree cut, which I will display. So first and foremost, let me go ahead and remove the rails or the fences off of my table so that I can get access and make sure I can go across the table. Alright, so before I actually show the actual product in motion, I want to show you a unique feature about the actual Dewalt track saw, or the track saw rail. So this is a Dewalt rail. As you can see, you got the 4 skid strips on the top. If you notice, on both sides you have like a rubberized area, and then on the back you have your non-skid portion, which is the rubberized area on both sides, right? So the rubberized area allows it to kind of stick to your surface, so you don't actually have to use clamps in a lot of cases. Now, as they start to become slippery, then you may end up having to replace those, and those are replaced simply by just peeling off the actual rubber, which is kind of glued on, and then you can purchase that online and actually replace those to give you that good snug thing. So like when I push down on the table, I'm able to basically move my table or shake my table, but you know, it can also slide, so you can put it up against your cut line, and then as you push down on it, when you're cutting with the track saw, it usually does not move at all, or hasn't moved for me. Now, one of the unique features about the Dewalt track saw, I'll lay it like this so you can see. I can put this on, and it'll slide this way, and it will cut. But it'll also slide back this way and cut. Now let's compare that to a couple other products here. So this here is a Makita rail. As you see here, let me pop that down like this. Now you see you have a T-track here, and then you have this protrusion, which is basically a T-track on the underside of the rail on the other side. So let's go ahead and grab this saw, and as you see, it slides this way, but it does not fit on the opposite side of the rail. You have a similar story with the Festool product. So the Festool product is almost identical to the Makita rail in the sense that you have the top T channel on the top, and then you have the underside T channel which protrudes up off of the rail, and then there's a T channel on the bottom. This one is exactly the same. So the saw actually plants on the rail like this, moves forward, but it does not have the capacity to come back on the rail. I think now's a good time for me to see if this actually runs on a Makita rail. And actually, it looks, well, no, it doesn't, because there's actually a lip. So the Dewalt track saw doesn't run on that because there's actually a little lip, and that lip is actually a safety feature. So when you tilt the Makita saw over to a 45-degree angle, it actually catches this groove. The Festool rail does not have that, and thus far, the Dewalt track saw does work on the Makita rail. The Dewalt track saw does work on the Festool rail, and the Makita track saw also works on this rail. I have to clean this off. There's something on the bottom here, some kind of stuff. So anyway, so all of the saws will work. Now I have to tighten the cams, and then there's also something on this saw. I don't know what it is exactly, because it's actually running rough on this side, this from here too. So anyways, getting back to the point. So as you can see, there's a unique feature on the Dewalt rail that gives you the ability to run your saw down one side and then up the other. Now that is not a big deal. If you start off with the Makita, or if you start off with the Festool, that's not even gonna be something that you even consider or think about. If you own one of these saws first, then when you go to use the Dewalt, you're just gonna use it one-sided more than likely because of muscle memory. And I was exactly the opposite. Since I started with the Dewalt, there were many times where I would take this track and I would take this and I would put it on, and for whatever reason I would put it on this end because I wasn't really paying attention, and then I would take the square and put it up like this, and I would try to cut and it doesn't fit. So then you end up turning it around, and if you try to cut in the opposite direction, like this, if you don't clamp this down, you have the tendency to push this forward or cock it one way or the other if you go in this direction. Whereas if I actually move this all the way down to the opposite side and lock it in place, snug it up, when I'm pushing with the saw, it's actually holding this up against the workpiece, ensuring that I have the straightest cut possible with the rail square. So there's a reason why I'm talking about this and how the Makita, or how the Makita functions, and the Festool functions exactly the same way. So as you see here, we have the 110-inch rail you have a 42-inch rail, and then this is the 59-inch rail, right? So when I grabbed this that I bought from benchdogs.co.uk, I got it out of the box, and I actually had tried to record this video before, and I took it and I put it up under here, and look at that, it doesn't fit. So immediately I began to feel as though this was not manufactured properly. I was a little bit frustrated. And so I contacted benchdogs.co.uk, and they kindly got back with me and re-educated me on the situation. So one of the things that you have to do, if you have a Festool rail, if you have a Dewalt rail, get your mind right, and you see you have these strips on the bottom, you must remove one of these strips on one side or the other, which is 168 mil is what I was told by Ralph from benchdogs.co.uk when he responded to my email. What that does is that enables you, there's a little groove right here on the rail, and it allows the metal part of the rail to actuate into this channel, and it aligns the actual T-track with the T-track, which is in the center of the Dewalt rail on the bottom, so that it actually works. So what I have done, now I was hesitant to do that. When I first got the email, I misinterpreted it, and I thought I had to cut 168 mil off of the rail. I was like, I don't want to cut the rail. But after corresponding back and forth with benchdogs.co.uk, it re-educated me and let me know that no, you just need to remove the actual cut strip. So I have done that with my 42-inch rail. As you can see here, there is the rubber guide on one side. The opposite side is just bare metal. And you can kind of get a look. I kind of left the glue on the bottom so you can see when I peeled off the actual adhesive strip. Now this can be replaced because you can purchase this and replace it. So now let's go ahead and check the functionality. So now I grab the rail square, and that slides up under the lip in this location here, and then when it gets there, it slides in perfectly. Now you need to make sure your cams are adjusted so that the rail can slide past them, and it slides onto the device, and then you actually turn the cams to put pressure on the rail so that it does not move, and then you have one solid piece. Now with this, I am able to butt up against the piece of work here, and then now with this configuration, what is the issue? I did the exact same thing that I usually do with the Makita, which is I put it on the wrong side. So let me loosen this. And the reason why it's the wrong side is because since the cutting strip is off on this side, even though I can run the rail this way, the saw this way, which it won't go all the way back because it's going to hit the actual rail guide, even though it'll run this way, there's no support as it is, there's no zero clearance support as it is on this side. So if you put this line up against your cut line, it's not going to be accurate. So what I have to do is loosen this and slide this all the way down. Snug it up so that it's on there. Turn the rail around. Butt it up against my work. And now I'm clear to make my cut. So, and then with this feature here, you just kind of slide it forward, and it kind of keeps this, because this is such a substantial piece of aluminum, by adding this little bar that can be slid backwards or forwards, it kind of balances out the work, because otherwise you may have a tendency of the rail to kind of want to tilt down because of the weight. So to balance that out, they added this nice little feature, which is a welcome feature to get you more, just good quality of the product as far as, you know, helping you get good results. Now, I'm gonna be honest, I still had reservations before I removed that strip. I actually just removed it yesterday, and the only reason why I removed it was because after purchasing this rail square for $163 with tax here in the U.S. I had a feel. I felt a way about you losing the ambidextrous cutting ability with the Dewalt saw. It just felt like I was giving up a feature. It's kind of like if you you buy a camera or a phone and you put your phone in a case and you can't get to the buttons or you can't get to the ports. It just feels like you're losing functionality, and that's what I felt like with this product because I had to remove that strip. Now it does add additional functionality, and for that it's awesome. It's absolutely awesome. When I take my TSO manufactured square and I put this in line here, it's spot on. I don't see light. So this is a 90-degree setup here, right? So that's gonna give you, as long as your reel is straight on both sides, it's parallel, then you're gonna get that 90-degree cut that you're looking for with the Dewalt saw, or with the Dewalt track, that you weren't able to get prior to Bench Dogs reaching out and making this product. So for that, we applaud Bench Dogs. Now, so what I did to appease myself, I went ahead and I spent $60 and I bought a replacement rail for the actual 42-inch, and then I spent another $90 to get a replacement rail for the 59-inch, so that I can actually remove the strip from two of my rails so that I can use this rail square on both of those rails, but still have the ambidextrous capabilities with the other two rails. Now this 110-inch, I am not going to remove the strip off of that. For one, it's only 110 inches, so once you add this to the actual track, it won't be able to cut a full sheet of plywood anymore, because it's going to take up this right here. This portion is going to take up too much of the actual track, so it won't reach all the way down, so you probably won't be able to cut a full sheet. That's one. Number two, and probably more important reason, you can't find this right now. It's unavailable on Amazon. So you may be able to find it at other outlets, but I ordered mine on Amazon, and so if I can't replace it, I don't want to finagle with it. So luckily I was able to find those other two tracks, and I've attached this and it works great. I mean, I don't have any complaints in regards to the functionality. It would have been nice if there was a way to solve this problem without having to change the rail into a one-directional rail, but you can't have everything. And so, I'll take this addition. Cost me a little bit extra money, because you're talking about another $140 on top of this, $160 purchase, just to keep the same functionality that I got OEM out of the box with the Dewalt track saw. Anyways, long-winded review about the benchdogs.co.uk bench or rail square. If you want one, you can go on to benchdogs.co.uk and order one for yourself. For Dewalt users, this is a welcomed addition. My personal recommendation is decide which size rail you're going to use this on, and just get an extra rail. Get an extra rail and use this for the extra rail, and have your other one so you can just cut back and forth to your heart's content, because that's what I do. Anyways, thanks for taking time to watch the video. I'll see you in my next video. Take care.